Just for the next 5 minutes or so, I'd like to start with a quote. And this quote is by Maya Angelou back in the 1950s, but I think it's really echoed through time over the last 50 years or so. And that's that people don't always remember what you say or even what you do, but they always remember how you made them feel. And I think this is, that's something that's kind of really struck a chord with me particularly, because it's not if we think of that in a customer experience context, it's not the transactional element of an interaction that sticks with us, but it's very much the emotional, empathetic context around that stays with us and drives our decisions and thoughts going forward. If we kind of overlay this onto the customer experience landscape in 2019, we can see that digital economists have very much reset the balance of power between brand and consumers. Consumers are adapting new technology at a much faster rate of change than ever before. Brands are kind of working away behind the scenes to keep a pace with that rate of change. And the consequences for organisations who might drop the ball on occasions are very high these days. It's a high stakes game. The barriers to switching allegiance are pretty much non-existent now. There's new market entrants entering the market every year, and all it takes is one bad interaction and your long-standing customer will probably be off to your closest competitor down the road. If we have a look at this theme of emotion, which will be a key theme throughout the event today, a bit more closely, we can see a lot of the biggest think tanks and consultancies in the world investing millions and millions of dollars into exploring emotion and just the extent to which it drives our decisions and our thoughts. Forrester found that when customers feel valued and appreciated, 87% will go on to become advocates of our brand, and 74% will remain with us as customers over a long period of time. Similarly, the Harvard Business Review, they found that 95% of purchase-making decisions are driven subconsciously by emotion. So pretty much all of our decisions, whether we're aware of it or not, whether we accept it or not, it's now kind of very firmly accepted that almost all of our decisions are driven by emotion. We also did our own piece of research across Europe towards the back end of last year, and we researched 1,000 large enterprise brands, and 86% of these now regard emotion as a very important element of their customer experience strategy. And some of those key emotional triggers that these brands are really focusing on managing going forward are confidence, so giving a customer confidence in your organization, ensuring that interactions with your brand are simple or they can self-serve where applicable, and making a customer feel secure and safe. So really kind of harping back to those kind of core emotions that drive us as human beings. But of course, you could argue, why does any of this matter? Well, I think if we accept that the core premise of customer experience is that relationships and experiences do matter to the point of changing behaviours, then if we can create these powerful online experiences with our customers and inspire and evoke these positive emotions, then the payback for an organisation can be huge, because you can then start to influence the behaviour of your customers at scale. And those behaviours can take a range of different forms. It might be to turn your most satisfied customers into your biggest advocates, and to leave you a great review on TripAdvisor or Trustpilot, whatever it might be. It might be to turn your social media followers or your website visitors into customers, or it might just be to encourage some of your customers to see online as a great way to speak to you going forward, and to encourage some of that channel shift and some of those efficiencies off the back of that. But of course, initially, we need to get that positive emotional experience correct first. And there are brands out there doing a really great job of this right now. So digital winners in 2019 are very much experience-led, so they understand human beings, they understand how to create a fantastic experience for their customers. But coupled with that, they have a really deep human focus. So if we look, for example, at Airbnb, so one of the world's largest accommodation organizations, they've created this global community of people that enable us to book kind of last minute, cheap, flexible accommodation when it suits us as the customer. If we look at Spotify or Pinterest, these organizations and brands give us very personalized ways to discover and to use their services, using things like AI in the background. They really start to understand our behaviors and our kind of likes and dislikes, and to serve us that content going forward. And this is very much linked to our mission as an organization at Orlo. So a very quick kind of glimpse into the past. So many of you will have heard of us as Social Sign-In. We rebranded in September last year. And some of the drivers for that kind of rebrand and repositioning was that organizations every year have a proliferation of more and more digital touch points to manage. And rather than having 10 different systems and 10 different tabs open on their desktop, the feedback that we were getting from our user groups and the 400 or 500 organizations that we work with across the globe was that organizations wanted to manage these touch points from a central place. Because obviously the more joined up brands can work behind the scenes, so letting customer service, marketing, PR work from within one platform in a very coordinated fashion, the better the digital customer experience they can then ultimately deliver for their customers. So as part of that rebrand, we started to branch out from purely social media management to we're one of the first to market organizations of linking in web chat as well. So one of our customers, Ocado, which our CTO Ben will talk about later, have 300 agents working across social and web chat, moving across different channels, handling different conversations at the same time. And shortly, we'll also be launching SMS, WhatsApp, and some AI elements as well, which I won't steal Ben's thunder too much. He can touch on later on. But you can get a flavour for some of the brands that we work with on your screen. And we enable these brands to create really powerful online customer experiences and to really harness that emotional connection with their customers.